who does what where, and that's true in regions all across the state. But I would urge them now to get on the telephone or Zoom or whatever your preferred technology, start talking, start understanding what happens on Friday, what do our numbers look like, and let's get that all set sooner rather than later. This is the next big step in this historic journey. First phase was figure out what we were dealing with because we had no idea. Scramble, frankly, to deal with a situation that dropped from another planet. Stabilize, ramp up the healthcare system, inform people, get people to understand what we were dealing with, and control the damage. That's the mountain to me. We're now on the other side of the mountain. Next step, how do we reopen? How do we reopen intelligently? And how do we reopen without taking a step back? What we have done thus far is really amazing. And it was because we were smart and because we were unified. And because we did that, we averted tragedy. Let's just remember where we were, right? Remember where you were before you take a step forward. We had the virus that attacked us from Europe. The virus was coming. They now say, the experts now say, the geniuses now say, the virus came from Europe in January and February. And you know what? No one knew. No one knew, with all the sophistication, with all the public health organizations, with that whole alphabet soup of agencies, nobody knew the virus was coming from Europe. Everybody's looking at China, and the virus is coming from Europe. Why? Because by the time we moved, the virus had traveled from China to Europe. And then people are getting on flights from Europe coming to New York. 2 million travelers. 2 million travelers came from Europe. We had no idea. So New York, the East Coast, people were landing at JFK. They were landing at Newark Airport. And that's where the virus came from. January, February, March. Nobody knew. European travel ban goes into effect mid-March. It's too late. It was already here. Okay, let's learn the lesson going forward. But that was the situation. Those were the cards we were dealt. That's why New York had such high numbers. Not because there's anything special or different about New York, but because New York is where the European flights were coming in, and we didn't know. That was the situation that we were handed. They then say, well, we project hospitalizations to be 120,000. I said, 120,000? You know how many hospital beds we have in this state? 50,000. How can we have hospitalizations of 120,000 if we only have 50,000 beds, counting every bed in the entire state of New York? If you could coordinate every bed, you have 53,000 beds. And they projected 120,000. So scrambled to try to get more hospital beds. But the only real course was you have to reduce the infection rate. How do you reduce the infection rate? You have to close down, stop people from spreading, stop gathering, stop density. We did that. Otherwise, thousands more people would have died. Thousands more would have died. That is not rhetorical. That is not dramatic. That is a factual statement. Thousands more people would have died. We made that happen. We changed that trajectory. I didn't even know it was possible at one time. When this started, we were at a truly bad and frightening place. If we didn't change the trajectory of this virus, and we had 120,000 people show up at our hospitals, we would have made the situation in Italy look like a walk in the park. We were really at a very, very bad place. Again, through no fault of our own. Virus came from Europe. Whoever would have figured that? Somebody should have, but above my pay grade. We changed the trajectory dramatically by what we did. And that was smart. But we have to stay smart. And we have to stay united. You look at what we've done. New York, the cases are now on the decline. You look at the rest of the nation outside of New York, the cases are still on the incline. We took the worst situation in the nation and changed the trajectory, so now we're on the decline. The rest of the nation, the cases are still on the incline. That is because of what the people in this state did. If you had said when we started this, yes, we have more cases than anyone else, yes,